Hello and welcome back to the Transfer Portal CFB Gambling Show. We're in week 4. We had a good week, but before we get into everything, a quick word from our sponsor.
Winning season has officially returned, and with the NCAA back in action, plenty of opportunities to win at MyBookie. Whether you're a seasoned bettor or a first-timer, MyBookie gets you the most for your money with a double deposit bonus up to $1,000. To claim your bonus, sign up and use promo code TRANSFER on your first deposit, and you'll instantly double your money with MyBookie. It's simple. $100 deposit puts $200 in your account. You can use your funds to bet on as many individual games, contests, or props as you want. Bet on team win totals, predict the national championship winner, or use the MyBookie prop builder to give yourself the edge you need to secure the bag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Absolutely beautiful ad read. That's right. We're sponsored now. We finally made it. So I think we had a pretty good week, Andrew. I know that we're so close to that perfect week of the 4 of us being positive. Week 3, we're almost there. I went 8-5, started off hot. 8-2, lost my Fresno money line because Jake Hainer hates scoring touchdowns and the Fresno kicker kind of blew it. But how are you guys feeling after week 3?
I'm finally back positive after 2 miserable weeks, so I'm hoping to go with 13 weeks in a row positive now after 2 weeks negative.
Yep.
I am. You know what? This is the way I see it. See, I did not place any bets for week 0 because I knew nothing. I started placing bets on week 1 because I was hungry to place bets again. And all of a sudden, week 2 just decided to be 2007 on steroids, all in the span of a couple days. So, you know what? Gambling season's for real now. All right. Our warm-up weeks are over. I feel like I finally know all the teams about as good. This is business time. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
I think it's honestly remarkably impressive. Like, as a show, we went positive given what last week was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I had Georgia Southern. I wish I would have sprinkled the money line, but
I will say the shout out that Georgia Southern first quarter, that +7. I should have done like a money line or like a -6.5. Like I am, like that's the worst thing about betting underdogs is that whenever they cover, but they end up like pulling off the money line, you're just like, if I would have just had a bigger set of balls, I would have done better.
Yeah, who would have thought betting against Scott Frost was a really good idea?
It's always hindsight.
We'll never be able to do it again. It's tragic.
Wait till this week.
Well, wait until he's with Chip Kelly and UCLA next year.
Yeah. Andrewster's still the leader in the clubhouse. You have like a miraculous record against the spread right now. It's actually incredible. I don't know how you're doing it. But yeah, let's get into the games. Friday, we got 2 games. I know we only have our eyes on one, at least Andrew and I do. Air Force, Wyoming. Air Force was my lock last week. They got me back into a positive mindset after I lost my first lock. They're giving 15 at Wyoming. I'm on that number. I might get ballsy and get it down to 14, but I just think that back is way too dangerous. Brad Roberts had, I think, close to 200 yards, the fullback, and he fumbled for the first time in his career. That was just a sloppy game against Colorado. That defense is, I don't know if you can call a Mountain West defense legit, but Colorado could not do anything against them. And when they were inside the 5, they forced a fumble on the goal line. So I just think Air Force might have a legit chance. I mean, I know they're only 2 games in, but I think they have a legit chance of winning the conference. I think they cover the 15. I think they win the game by 3 touchdowns. Andrew, I know you have a bet in this game, right?
-8 first half. I mean, let's go ahead. I mean, these first halves have been biting me, but this is the time where they start to pick up. I mean, Air Force covered the first half last week against Colorado. Wyoming is not a good football team. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I feel like there are a lot of people that get this illusion that they're still somewhat good, but I think it's just because Josh Allen used to play football there. But Wyoming's not that good of a team. Air Force is probably the best team in the Mountain West. I think they are the best team. I think they have the chance to be the most consistent team in the Mountain West. -8, a -8 against Wyoming. Oh, Jesus Christ. But I love this Air Force team a lot. I love the way that they're running the balls. Like you said about Brad Roberts. I mean, he averaged damn near 7.5 yards per carry last week against Colorado. He still got 3 touchdowns, 174 yards total. I don't see how Air Force doesn't at least get double digits at halftime.
Yeah, I like that play a lot. I'm considering taking the first half as well. I'm going to bury that Wyoming jersey in the backyard and then break it out, I guess, afterwards. But yeah, I really like Air Force. I'm going to be following Air Force all year now and seeing where those spreads go. But that's our only Friday play. Let's move on to Saturday. And then I guess you could say the first game on the board that's intriguing is Georgia, South Carolina. South Carolina is getting 24.5 at home. I think this line is right where it should be because South Carolina has not been impressive and Georgia is clearly the best team in the country. What do you guys think?
I think Georgia smashes this, and it's strictly because I think they're going to run all over them because both of South Carolina's starting linebackers tore their ACLs last week. So they're down both of their starting linebackers. I think Georgia's going to run through them. Stetson Bennett's going to do what he does and just be steady and just hold still in the pocket and move the ball. But I think Georgia's going to smash this. This is going to be in my parlay later in the night.
Remember a couple years ago when Georgia was here by 28. They went to South Carolina and they lost straight up. I'm not taking that risk again. I just can't. I was going to put them on my can't lose parlay, but I remember I had a parlay for that Saturday too. That game costed me. I cannot relive that nightmare ever again.
I lean with Matt on this one. I don't have a play in this game, but I mean, we saw what Georgia did to Oregon. Now, I'm not going to call South Carolina Oregon because South Carolina doesn't have Bo Nix playing quarterback for them. But Spencer Rattler also hasn't been proven, the haters wrong at this point. So if I had to, if I was forced to play something in this game, I would probably take the 24.5 with Georgia. They're just so dang good. It's scary. They've replaced 15 NFL draft picks and looks like they didn't lose a step. If not, they might have gotten better, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
If the first half is 13.5, I would jump on that real quick. I truly would play.
Check out real quick what it is. I honestly have no. I mean, the first half it's 24.5. It's probably saying 16. Quick, I'd like to give a shout out to Matty B, my friend Joe's little brother, who is a freshman in South Carolina and claims that South Carolina is going to contend because Georgia can't handle the Carolina heat. That's a real thing. He texted me.
Isn't Georgia more south than South Carolina?
That's exactly what I told him. Georgia is a 2-touchdown favorite, minus 14 in the first half. I might take that, honestly, now that we look.
I don't know, man. I would buy half a point, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
I would.
I mean, I'm going to stay away, but that's an intriguing line. Yeah, that's going to be. I mean, it's going to be a fun game. I think it's the first game of the noon games are pretty exciting. Not a lot of juice that we have going with it, but yeah, let's move on to the next one. This isn't a play for us. I just have to bring this up because it's fascinating to me how Michigan gets Hawaii, UConn, Colorado State, 52-point favorites last week, and now they're 47.5-point favorites.
It pisses me off because I can't bet on it.
It's not fair. Yeah, you can't.
I just can't bet on it.
It's just ridiculous. They're gonna smash them too.
They demolished Hawaii last week and didn't cover. They won by 40 and didn't cover. I would have been pissed if I had bet on the full game.
Yeah, I don't know how they got away with that, but that's just I'm probably gonna watch that. It's on ABC. Maybe I'll take UConn. That's a lean. No, I'm not taking them.
But I was thinking about adding because you can't bet the Michigan money line. I mean, as you shouldn't on this game. But I try to look for an alternate point spread. And the lowest point spread is 32.5 that you could take. And that was at a minus 600. And I'm just I don't care. That's still too high.
Yeah, the total's at 60. That's going to be a crazy game. This game, the next one, Oklahoma, Nebraska. On the upset show yesterday, legitimately think Nebraska has a chance of winning this game. So I'm leaning Nebraska getting 11. It's not even that Nebraska, their offense is good. They have talent on the offensive side of the ball. The defense is just terrible. Oklahoma's offense didn't show up against Kent State. That bit me in the ass because I had the over 71. They scored 36 points in the entire game. They barely got halfway there.
By Kent State. That's not good.
Yeah, you can't score in Kent State. That defense is not good. And so it's a really intriguing game, especially with the Mickey Joseph era now. They finally got Scott Frost out of there. And I could just see it them coming off a loss to Georgia Southern, somehow pulling it off. I'm not saying take the money line. Don't do that. I'm leaning the 11. Probably gonna sprinkle the money line also, but I have the 11 in a parlay, which we'll get to later. I just think that game will be a lot closer than most people think.
I agree. It's the opposite of a letdown spot. It's Nebraska coming off of a massive letdown against Georgia Southern. New energy with Mickey in there. They've got the talent on offense. Like you said, their defense is just freaking atrocious. That defensive line, I don't think, has any chance of getting to the quarterback. Their linebackers, someone needs to check their linebackers because they may have the worst run defense I've ever seen. I mean, they let North Dakota run like LaShawn McCoy from Philadelphia was back there. It was insane to me.
Yeah, that's the issue with them. And I mean, you could probably put me at running back and I'd get a first down, I think, against that defense. Yeah. Moving on, we're not really touching anything in between. My first official play of Saturday. Oh, the line moved for me. It's a trap essentially. I'm taking Purdue money line against Syracuse. It's got to be a trap. I'm taking the bait. I just think Syracuse had a really nice win against Louisville. Garrett Schrader looks pretty poised. Sean Tucker's a beast, as we all know. But I feel like it's going to come down to how Schrader plays. Purdue obviously smoked Indiana State. Against Penn State, the defense had a bunch of letdowns, but O'Connell can still sling the ball. Like if Syracuse gives up the deep ball and this Purdue running attack can get moving, I just think Purdue's going to win this game. I don't know. It's a pick'em. I took it as a pick'em. I think Syracuse is a 1-point favorite now. I'm taking Purdue money line.
I don't have a play in that game, but my instinct when I think about that game is if it turns into a situation where it's a shootout, I definitely trust Purdue more than I trust Syracuse in this situation.
Yeah, Syracuse, you beat Louisville. You shut down Malik Cunningham. Very nice. And you smoke UConn, which you're supposed to do. I think this is just the first big. And how many games do we have them winning, Matt, in the ACC preview? Like 3?
I mean, I think it was 4.
4?
I think it was one of us had 4, 1 3. It was right around there.
Yeah, we were not high on them, and I'm just. I think it's gonna be a great game. Honestly, I think it'll come down to the fourth quarter. It'll be close, but I'm on Purdue money line just because my Big Ten brain and me thinking Dino Babers is a bad coach and Syracuse is a bad team. Purdue money line is my first play for Saturday.
To play devil's advocate, Syracuse has some dogs in the secondary.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave that there. I don't have a play in this game. I don't have a lean. I'm definitely going to watch that game. It's going to be a very good game.
Yeah.
It's going to stay away. Syracuse, if there's any team in the ACC that should be able to slightly neutralize Purdue's passing offense, I would probably pick the Orange.
It'd be very interesting because Penn State did a good job of, Chuck Sizzle, Charlie Jones had a ton of yards and 8 against Penn State, but he wasn't like they didn't get if you can stop O'Connell like Penn State did, which now you bringing up, I'm still on Purdue money line, but they could stop the deep ball and it's going to come down to if he can complete his passes. He can't throw 15 incompletions again. Moving on, I think this is a game that I am the only one with the play in. This is another upset show game for me. I took South Alabama to beat UCLA. I like South Alabama a lot. Money line is not my play though. I'm taking plus 16. I'm going to wait until Saturday to see where it falls. If I could buy it up to 17 because 16 is a weird number for me. But this is a game where South Alabama shut down Central Michigan, who went crazy against Oklahoma State. Lou Nichols is my favorite running back in the country. He had 15 carries for 20 yards. And Carter Bradley, the old Toledo quarterback, showed that he can run an efficient offense. And Central Michigan, bad defense. Maybe a bad example, but they couldn't stop them. And UCLA they beat Bowling Green and Alabama State. I just don't think that they'll be able to cover. I just don't think they'll blow them out. I don't trust their defense. I don't trust DTR. I think it's going to be like the Georgia Southern Nebraska game. Not that South Alabama is going to win, but I think it's going to be close in the fourth quarter, and it's going to come down to whoever plays the better quarter in the fourth quarter. But South Alabama plus 16 is my official play.
Do we know if Zach Charbonnet is back for that game?
Let's find out.
I know he
might be. I think he is. I think he is playing. Yeah, he practiced. So They're listed as available, which makes me think that he's going to play. But yeah, so that's my play, South Alabama. Moving on, Iowa State, Ohio.
I have the under here. I think these are two bad offenses, and I don't think they're going to be able to score against each other. Now, granted, neither defense has played particularly well. Iowa State allowed 7 points against Iowa, but a lot of people can allow 7 points against Iowa. But I just think I don't think either of these offenses are good enough to get up to 47.5. This line started at 49.5. It was bet really quickly down to 47. And I bet you it probably drops another point or two before Saturday. But Ohio averaged 4 yards a run against Penn State. And I can't imagine it'll be much better against an Iowa State defense that's allowed 3.3 yards per rush to start the year. So I think Iowa State's going to get up early, and I think they're just going to start pounding the rock and get out of there. I don't think either team is going to try to throw the ball. And if they do, Deckers has shown that he's had some costly interceptions, especially when they try to pick the pace up. I think 2 of his 3 interceptions were the 2-minute drill. So I think if they're going to try to pick the pace up even a little bit, it'll slow down. And then on top of that, both of these teams are 2 of the slowest teams in the country. They're like outside of the top 100 in pace for both of them.
This is a game where I want to keep watching the spread because it's moved from 21 to 18. And everything in my body is telling me this is a letdown spot for Iowa State. Ohio is not the worst team in the country, but Iowa State, can I trust them to lay 18? I don't really know if I can. If that spread goes up half a point up towards 19, I might take Ohio. This will probably be a early Saturday play if I have it, but I don't have anything as of right now.
You know what they say about betting against Ohio spreads.
Don't do it. Yeah, I mean, I think Penn State kind of last week, I had a lot of fun watching that game. They kind of laid out the blueprint on how to stop that offense because FAU couldn't do anything against them week 1. And then pretty much what they did was what they did to O'Connell, where they didn't let Rourke get deep and throw the ball deep. And they couldn't run the ball at all. And I like that. I mean, I agree with it being a letdown spot for them. I had it circled on my card. I didn't take it because 18 is a weird number. Iowa State's coming off such an emotional win and such a exciting game that we all love to watch. And Ohio, I think that they have Rourke is fine, but I like that underplay actually. Yeah, and then so that's under, what was that number?
47.5. It opened at 49.5. I bet you it goes down to at least 46 or 45 by Saturday.
Yeah. I can see that. Nothing on the Rutgers Temple Super Bowl. Not gonna watch a second of that game. Old Dominion, Virginia. So this isn't I have Old Dominion in a parlay that we'll get to later. I just noticed when I was looking at this yesterday during the upset show because Leica took Old Dominion to win this game, which I think is feasible. Old Dominion was an 11-point underdog, and that line's now moved to 8.5. So I think that Vegas, people are just hammering Old Dominion, I guess, which is not a bad idea.
Yeah, I have this in a parlay I'll talk about later. I actually have a total, but recently we found out that Old Dominion's dog, people are saying it's a support dog. I don't know if it's
Hudson.
It looks like, yeah, Hudson. So University of Virginia is not going to allow Hudson on the football field for reasons unbeknownst to me, even though they can have horses on the football field. So you know what? I'll let them do whatever the heck they want.
Yeah,
but
right?
The fact you're not going to let a puppy on the football field is kind of making me want to bet Old Dominion money line. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but man, Virginia sucks. Tony Elliott, whatever the heck you did to that offense, reverse, do the electric slide, reverse, because Brendan Armstrong last year was so electric. That was not an intentional pun, but it worked out with the electric slide. Dontavion Wicks is a great wide receiver. And last week, they almost put up a goose egg against Illinois. Illinois got a good defense, but man, you didn't even look good against Richmond. Why should I trust you against Old Dominion, who already has a good win against Virginia Tech? Now, Virginia Tech sucks, but that's beside the point. You know what? Old Dominion money line is going on the card right now.
Yeah, you convinced me with the Hudson game. I'm on Old Dominion money line now.
Justice that's all. Hudson.
All you had to do was tell me it was the Hudson. I completely forgot the Hudson game. He wears his little Crocs, on the field. That's so messed up. Yeah, and I agree. Yeah. They in Old Dominion, they did not play well against ECU whatsoever. That was a letdown game for them because they're coming off that high of that win against Virginia Tech, emotional win, and I think they're gonna get back. They're gonna play for Hudson. Let's add that to the card. Ultimate money line. Let's go. I love it. This is so the next thing we're talking about, I'm gonna skip the Notre Dame game because you should not touch a Notre Dame game with a 60-foot pole. That should not even be on anyone's card at all. BYU Oregon is very interesting because I kind of feel like Oregon's getting the respect that BYU got last week against Baylor, being the lower ranked team at home. BYU didn't impress me last week against Baylor. I just think that was a really sloppy game, and they had the home field advantage. And I think Oregon, you could see a similar kind of result.
Yeah, oh, you go, Matt.
I tend to agree. I think Oregon's going to win this game. Baylor should have won last week. They had multiple opportunities to win the game in the fourth quarter and overtime, and they just let them all slip through their hands. I think Oregon obviously struggled against Georgia, which a lot of teams are going to struggle against Georgia. And I think they found what they were supposed to do last week. I think they're going to continue that. I think they're going to win probably by a touchdown. I'd lean 3.5 here. It's not official, but I'd lean it.
Yeah, the thing that makes me scared about this game is Vegas essentially thinks that Oregon is 6 points better. You said spread's -3.5 for Oregon?
Yes.
And going from a massive win in Provo, now you got to go to Autzen, which is a very underrated atmosphere, I would say, to play an Oregon team that, they didn't look good against Oregon or Georgia. As Matt said, no one's going to look good against Georgia. Last week was a bit of a runway game against Eastern Washington. I think that they can get something going. I don't think BYU looks too incredible. I think that they're a good team. They're a top 25 team, but I mean, people are acting as if beating number 9 Baylor, which they shouldn't have been number 9. That's besides the point, makes them a top 10 team. I don't think that's the case. I think that this is a good win for Dan Lanning squad. I would lean Oregon, but I'm not going to play this game. It's just too trappy, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely the 3.5. It's a trap. Yeah, I agree. That's going to be a good game, though, I think. Fox. Will we get Gus for that? We should, right?
Gus will be calling Oklahoma, Nebraska.
Yeah, that works, too. That's a perfect Gus game for my Nebraska narrative. Even better.
Last year, he did call that insane pick with the
Yeah, always.
Which, by the way, I don't know why the heck you would go for the pick. You lost your team 20 yards of field position, besides the point.
So the next game on the card, I'm going to let you guys start to talk about it, and I'll kind of give my analysis afterwards. It's Penn State Auburn. Penn State's giving 3 on the road. I want to hear what you guys think about that game before I kind of give my pick and thoughts.
I think Auburn's a dumpster fire. Penn State all the way.
Penn State. I feel
good about myself.
Auburn was on a team that was on upset alert last week against San Jose State, a San Jose State team that needed a last-minute touchdown to beat Portland State, which is not good for an SEC team. Sean Clifford has been what we expect of Sean Clifford. He's dependable, if not spectacular. But Nick Singleton looks like he's probably going to be next in the long line of great Penn State running backs. He looks like he might be next in line for that mantle. Other than that, for Auburn, they have Tank Bigsby. Obviously, he's been fantastic, but TJ Finley has looked rough. He's turned the ball over multiple times already, and he isn't providing much through the air. And that's where you need to beat this Penn State team, is through the air, because you're not going to be able to run on them as was shown by Ohio last week. So I think they're going to be able to slow Tank Bigsby down a little bit and then run away with this.
This is the first time a Big Ten team's ever been at Jordan Hare.
Really?
It's not the most surprising thing, because when has Auburn ever played a Big Ten team at home? I can't remember, at least, which is kind of why that's a fact. But the thing that worries me is, why does Vegas only have this as 3? Auburn sucks. That team sucks. Ryan Harsin sucks. TJ Finley sucks. Penn State has looked very good. They had the game against Purdue and then the game against Ohio. Auburn struggled against San Jose State. What makes you think this is a 3-point spread? That's what scares me about this. Penn State should win this game by 2 touchdowns. But are they going to? Because at the end of the day, we're not dealing with the greatest quarterback of all time. We're dealing with Sean Clifford. Sean Clifford's going to, you know better than all of us, Dave. He's going to ...
He's got a Sean Clifford.
Yeah. So you guys made me feel pretty good about myself. I don't know when my preview article is dropping, but yeah. So give Nick Singleton 26 first off. Just give it to him already. You don't even have to wait. You just wear 26 right now. You pretty much took the words out of my mouth, Matt. It's going to be all about the run game for Tank. If you can stop Tank, Finley's not going to be able to get the ball moving through the air because they pulled Finley last week. They put in Ashford. Then Ashford threw a pick, and then it was all Finley for the rest of the game. They didn't look good against San Jose State. You're right. The three. I mean, I think that they're only getting 3 as respect to Jordan Hare. I think if you put this on a neutral site, it's probably 6.5. I'm taking the money line because again, just like I was against Purdue, I'm a chicken. I'll eat the 150. I don't mind it. I'll lay the wood. Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, and then Clifford, like Drew Aller, looks so poised back there. You can't get rid of Clifford. You can't give the job to him already. But he looks like Clifford does this thing, okay. And if there's any pressure or any kind of controversy or anything that goes on, or like he's a little scared, he just goes like this when there's pressure coming, and he gets terrified. And then if he doesn't sit in the pocket, he moves his feet. He's very good. It's hard to call him dependable because he has the talent. He's a 6-year quarterback, and there's a reason you're a quarterback in the NFL because you have flaws. He can be dependable, but sometimes he's the last guy I want being the quarterback. But I trust him this week. I trusted him against Purdue. He made up for his boo-boo, which was almost really bad. I think Penn State wins this game. I can't tell you by how much, but I'm on the money line, and yeah, I'm gonna be a little drunk for this game. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right, moving on. Now I'm nervous about this game. Oh, this is I guess is an official play for me. It's not even, just take Stony Brook against UMass. Stony Brook's going to beat them. I don't even have to explain to you why I think Stony Brook's going to beat UMass, but they will. That's a money line play for me.
What's the money line on that?
Like 150, same as Penn State. I think they're a 3-point favorite. So like just lay the wood. I might even take the 3. I don't know. I think I have the money line on tally site. The Georgia Southern game against UAB, none of us have a play, but I find it very interesting that they're getting 12. Like that's a lot after that huge win. UAB is good.
Their defense isn't great. Now, granted, we have to respect what Casey Thompson and Mark Whipple are doing in Lincoln right now, but still giving up 42 points isn't ideal when a lot of teams could probably hold them to less. I like UAB. The points is what scares me. I don't know if I can trust them with 11.5 after putting up a dud against Liberty.
Yeah, it's gonna be very. They really did put up a dud against Liberty. I think that'll be good. I wish that game was on ESPN Plus or something. I don't think it is, but
that's gonna be such a good game.
Yeah, it really is.
Why is that not? CUSA versus Sunbelt for Group of 5 supremacy.
Yeah, it's the 2 best conferences in the country.
It is.
Moving on, Alabama, Louisiana Monroe. This is just gonna be a first half play for me. I think it's at what was it at? I think it's at 14 or something. I could be wrong. Oh no, it's a first quarter play for me. Excuse me, not a first half play.
I was about to say 14 is way.
It's the first quarter. It's the first quarter play. The brain got all mushy there. It's a first quarter play. It was at 13. I think I took it today. I think it was 13 when I took it today. 13 and a half. They'll be up just like the Michigan Hawaii game, taking that first quarter. That's going to be just a take it and forget it, and then you'll find money in your account 20 minutes after the game starts. And then Houston, Kansas is a very intriguing game. Somebody wants to bring that one up.
These people are going to make me go broke by the end of the season. I got the you know what, I had them -4 against UTSA, lost. I had the money line against Texas last week, lost. All right, but I don't care. I'm going to make those 2 plays back by placing 2 plays on this game on Saturday that I'll be at actually. Houston -6 first half, and then -9 for the full game. I know a lot of this. I know quite a few of the players on the team, and they're pissed off. They're really pissed off. They feel like that they had the game in their possession last week versus Texas Tech. But honestly, this is so weird because this is not the same Kansas that we make fun of every year. This is a different Kansas team. This is a Kansas team that beat a Power 5 opponent last week in West Virginia. Now, look, West Virginia is probably going to fire their head coach before we know it. Okay, that's not a lie. But hey, look, West Virginia almost beat Pitt. Where do we go with this? Jalen Daniels, he's been a tremendous in terms of run the ball. He averaged 10 yards a carry against Tennessee Tech, and then he averaged over 7 yards a carry last week against West Virginia. And that is honestly a point where Houston is struggling, but I just don't think Kansas's defense is gonna hold up against Brandon Campbell, who ran the ball very well last week against Tech. And I think that this is just the game. This is just the time for Dana to just take control of the offense and just let Clayton sling it. I mean, Clayton has been behind a prison cell. Luckily, I know Dana well enough to the point that after losses, this is where his troops get more riled up. I think Houston gets a touchdown lead at the half. I think they're going to win this game by at least 14. That team is pissed off. They really want to get back on this New Year's Six road. Houston all the way.
Yeah, if Houston wants to make a New Year's Six, they're going to have to close to win out. Especially you can't drop Kansas. You can't.
I just turned the light on. I forgot I didn't have my light on. Yeah, Kansas, it's weird because Kansas, they're at their like averaging 50 points a game. They're top 3 in the country right now. It's going to be an interesting game, but I think Houston's a better team. The offense has looked like doo-doo the past 2 games. No offense. It just like you get the ball to Tank and then no one else can really do much. It's 9. I like the first half, the 9. Like I same with me. Houston, I took them 2 weeks in a row, and thankfully I had +4 last week, so that was a win. Luck
undefeated at TDECU last season.
They're hard to
too.
bet on. Okay, so Matt, if you want to bring up Wake Forest and my guy Sam Hartman against Liberty.
I think Liberty's getting a lot of respect from their performance last week. I think Wake Forest is a far superior team, especially with Sam Hartman back there. I think they can absolutely shred them. I think 16.5 is a wild number for this game. I think they win by 3 touchdowns at least. I just think Sam Hartman elevates this Wake Forest team to a different level than Liberty is capable of attaining. I just think they're just going to shred them.
Yeah, that was 13 last week against Vanderbilt. That was one of the freest bets I've had in quite some time. That was a lot of fun, that one. I know Vanderbilt scored late to make it 20, but yeah, that was. I mean, look at this. They could still go 11. I could be right about this 11-1 run they might go on. So yeah, I love Wake Forest.
I love Wake Forest -10 first half. Also, I know here we are again with the first half plays. Think about A.T. Perry. Just think about how happy he is that Sam Hartman is back under center. Like week 1 against VMI, literally Virginia Military Institute, he only got 47 yards. First game back with Sam Hartman, 142 yards and a touchdown, and he averaged 28 yards per catch. That dude is happier than any man in the world that Sam Hartman's back. I expect, what did we say last week? Just give Sam Hartman the playbook and let him do what he wants. Repeat the same thing this week. I expect Wake Forest to be up by at least 2 touchdowns at half.
I like it. So apologies, I skipped the game, and I skipped maybe one of the games that's on, I think, almost everybody's slate. This is a #Fade Colorado podcast. Andrewster, if you want to give your thoughts about your Gophers giving 27.5, and I think the total is like 46.
It's close to that. Look, I've been fading Colorado this entire year, and it's no coincidence that they're playing Minnesota right now. Now, I could go on this rant about, Minnesota's so good. They've played New Mexico State and Western Illinois. I will shut up about that. But Colorado, this team sucks. Their coaching staff sucks. Their players suck. They have one of the bottom 5 performing quarterbacks right now with Stroud. Everything about that team is awful. They can't score more than 14 points. Minnesota is a team that over the last few years with PJ Fleck, they kind of undervalue who they're playing. Last year, we saw obviously the loss to Bowling Green. They struggled with Miami of Ohio. The one team that they demolished, Colorado. They beat them 30-0. It was their first shutout quite some time. They also just had their first home shutout in quite some time. This is just a demolishing. This is PJ Fleck just saying, hey, Mike Sanford, appreciate you what you did for 2 years ruining this offense. I'm going to show you now what I had in 2019 with Kirk Shiraka. Just put everything on the table, all the oars in the water. Minnesota wins by 40. 27.5 is an absurd number for Colorado that can't score. Minnesota can play defense and can score. I don't know why this is a number.
Yeah, as Colorado showed us last week against Air Force, they cannot stop the run. They allowed 435 yards on the ground this week. If you're into Prize Picks, if you can find a first half Prize Picks, hammer whatever Mo Ibrahim is. The number's not out there yet, but whatever it is, hammer it. He's probably going to rush for 100 in the first half fairly easily. I agree. This is an absolute smash. Fade Colorado.
Yeah, I'm shout out Kurt Soraka. I'm friends with his nephew Brian. Hi Brian, I hope you're listening. Yeah, so I agree. Fade Colorado. I'm on Minnesota 27.5. And I was kind of like in between. I want to see what you were gonna say before I like made my official play. I was either gonna be on the under 46 or Minnesota 27.5 because I don't think Colorado's gonna score, but I do think that Minnesota will score a ton of points. So I'm going with the spread.
Yeah, I would go with the spread just because this could either be a game, and I'm not going to say Colorado's not going to score because last week Mike Brown-Stevens fumbled on the first drive of the game. Now Western Illinois didn't score because it's Western Illinois, but if we fumble like that again, which is kind of uncharacteristic, Colorado could score. They could also score late. I wouldn't touch the total. This number is just so weird for the spread. I mean, Minnesota could score 50. I truly believe even after Mo Ibrahim gets benched after whatever his number is, Trey Potts is going to come in. He's one of the best RB2s for a team in the country. Then you've got guys like Bryce Williams, very much a veteran on this team. Even Preston Jelen last week had his 30-yard touchdown. So good for him.
Let's see. I'm curious if it's out yet. If DraftKings is at a 47. I want to see what their 37.5 is the team total for Minnesota right now. That could be a play. I mean,
it's weird.
They have it handicapped that they think they're going to win 38-10, which would obviously cover the spread, which is why they have it like that.
I don't know how we should give up 10 points.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Minnesota on the 28 right now, DraftKings. Yeah.
In fact,
Colorado.
I might put a second play in on Saturday morning, just seeing if everything is good. I might put a play on Colorado team total under. It worked for me last week. You know what? We fade the state of Colorado when it comes to football, except for Air Force.
Yeah, I love Air Force. Are you on Washington State this week as well, or are you just staying away from that? They're giving 17.
The only thing that scares me is Colorado State is an awful football team. Washington State doesn't look amazing either.
I don't know how they do that game.
Wisconsin just, Andrew, Wisconsin just wasn't good.
They just laid the biggest egg. That's all it was. Honestly, I was literally at the end of that Wisconsin-Washington State game, I wanted to start GoFundMe to get Paul Chris buyout. I mean, that was literally Graham's best game in like 2 years. But all of a sudden, Paul Chris was like, nah, we're not going to let him roam free with the ball in the second half. I'm like, you motherfucker. I mean, honestly, I don't know if I hate any UW alum more than I hate Paul Chris right now, okay? And Charles Lindbergh went to Wisconsin for like 2 semesters, okay? That's how pissed off I am at Paul Chris. That dude is literally like, I had a GP a couple weeks ago tell me that I got high blood pressure. I told him that I watch Wisconsin football. Okay, this is what happens, okay? I don't know why Wisconsin gave Paul Chris that extension back in January when you literally got Jim Leonard right there, who is absolutely on his knees begging for this position. And guess what? Nebraska just fired Scott Frost. Who do you think is going to be the first person that Nebraska is going to be knocking on doors? I swear to God, if Jim Leonard goes to Nebraska, I will drive the 18 hours from Houston to Madison, and I will have a very nice conversation with Chris McIntosh.
I'm surprised that didn't go farther.
Yeah, that was a great off rant right there. I love it. Paul Chris. To circle back around, we're still on hashtag Fake Colorado. I'm gonna get like a tapestry or a flag or something to put behind me for this show.
Oh, by the way, like literally, like here's the thing. Like, what drives me fucking insane is Paul Chris literally said in a press conference like 2 days ago, like on Monday, he literally said, I don't get why Grant didn't go for like higher percentage throws when literally down the field throws is what kept us in the first half. It's why we got 14 points in the second quarter. Like, bozo, like I love Braylon Allen. Braylon Allen's probably my favorite player in all of college football, but like he's literally not he's not a literal tank. I mean, Graham's finally got the chance to prosper in this offense. He's finally got a good offensive coordinator, and Paul Christ is still ruining him.
Andrew, can you harness that energy and give me a play in Mississippi State LSU?
Mississippi State -2.5. For those that watched our Week 3 preview, I love Will Rogers. I absolutely love how he's throwing the ball. LSU, I'm not sold on LSU yet. Shout out Caleb Ducking, who's already got 3 touchdowns to start the season. I love Will Rogers. I love the way that Mississippi State's playing right now. He's got to be the most underrated quarterback for what he's accomplished. LSU, I'm fading LSU all year. Okay, I don't know what LSU's win total was to start the year, but whatever it is, I don't know why I didn't take the under.
Can I add one quick thing to the Mississippi State thing?
Yep.
I'm looking at, and this is not me saying, oh, he's going to. If Will Rogers throws for the amount of stats that we think he can, I'm looking for his odds on going to New York and winning the award. It's plus 10,000. I feel like that's kind of disrespectful.
It is.
He can throw for 5,000 yards, 50
Yeah.
touchdowns. He doesn't throw too many picks. If Mississippi State has like an insane year, they can beat Texas A&M, a bad Texas A&M team. They can beat Arkansas. They're not going to beat Alabama. You know what? Maybe they could be the team that beats Alabama. Alabama looked pretty suspect against Texas. We know that at some point this year, they're going to have one misstep. Maybe that's Mississippi State. If they somehow go 10-2 or 11-1, I'm not saying that's 100% going to happen. Will Rogers is going to New York. He's going to New York.
The only downside to that is the Alabama game is at Tuscaloosa.
That's what makes me worry. And they also have to play Ole Miss and Oxford. So it's not likely.
Nah, it's Egg Bowl. I mean, I feel like with Egg Bowl, you can't.
They'll win the Egg Bowl. I think they're better than Ole
I
Miss.
think Ole Miss is one of the most overrated teams in the country. They don't have a quarterback.
So like Mississippi State's like preseason. I don't know why I didn't bring it up on our future show. Their win total was only like 6.5, and I was like, that is so tricky because they got screwed against Memphis last year. Anybody that remembers that game knows that they got screwed against Memphis, and this was back when everybody was so high on the Texas A&M like top 10 rankings. I was like, no, like I took Texas A&M under 8.5 for a reason because of BS that they pulled against App State. We're obviously going to touch on a little bit, but like, they got Miami coming to town this weekend. I look at the rest of their schedule and I'm like, I think they're going to beat LSU. They're going to easily beat Bowling Green. They got Texas A&M in Starkville. I'll take Mississippi State all day. I don't care if it's like an 8.5 spread. I'm taking Mississippi State. The only like concerning games that I see here is at Kentucky. We don't know what Kentucky's like suspensions are. We don't know which Kentucky team we're getting. Are we getting the Kentucky team from week 1? Or are we getting like Kentucky against Florida? And then at Alabama. But then you still got to play Georgia. Luckily, it's in Starkville, but I don't see them beating Georgia. Like, I don't care. Like, you can put a handicap and they're still not beating Georgia.
I think Kentucky is also an overrated team. Will Levis had a half decent game against Florida. He's just another guy that it's like we see all these raw physical traits, especially people with the NFL draft. Can we also just look at this dude throws an insane amount of picks for how much he throws? I love.
Yep.
Yeah, last year he had the 6th most attempts in the SEC, most picks. That's not very good. I would take Mississippi State against Kentucky. I don't think Kentucky's a very good team, even when they get Chris Rodriguez back, which I believe he's going to be back for the first SEC game that Kentucky plays. Obviously, they play Florida, but their next one. So, but I would still take Mississippi State. You talk about Georgia. I don't see anybody beating Georgia right now. Alabama, it's out there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It could happen. I mean, Will Rogers really was it KJ Costello before Will Rogers in this offense?
KJ Costello with the 634-yard game against LSU.
Yep. Mike Leach needed to get his guy to run this offense. This somehow it's slow. I don't understand. I always take Mississippi State overs thinking they're going to hit because they score a lot. It's a slow offense, but Will Rogers runs to perfection, you could say. And if he could even come close to Bailey Zappi's record, it's like 5,900, I think. He could see himself in New York. Yeah, I mean, Mississippi State, I like to play. I'm leaning the money line. We'll see where I'm at after the Penn State game, what kind of mindset I'm in to what I'm going to bet. But yeah, I like Mississippi State. I think that's a good play. I think that's the play. They're the much better team. Moving on, then we got two. So yeah, for me, Toledo, I think I'm the only one that's touching Toledo, Ohio State. My lock is in this game. This is a very intriguing game to me. Not that Ohio State's going to win, but I'm leaning Toledo plus 32 because it's crazy to say, but it's true. This is the best offense Ohio State's is going to face so far this year. Notre Dame's offense stunk. Arkansas State, not a great offense. They scored 12 points. DeQuan Finn is electric. And I just think that their offense is really, really good. And I'll get more into it when I give my lock. But I like Toledo, not to win the game, but I think they'll cover the spread. And I like both, which I'll get into. But yeah, that's going to be 7:00 on Fox. All my friends went to Ohio State. That'll be a game I'm watching, and I'm looking forward to it. Next on the board, and then you look at the 7:00 slate, just a bunch of nothingness. Oh, Texas Tech, NC State, which could be a let-up spot for NC State. Andrew, I think you have a play in that game, right?
Tech plus 10. I mean, I will literally I already hate the city of Lubbock, but I will hate Lubbock even more if they go into Raleigh and they don't pull off this. Okay, I'm not going to say pull off the upside, but because I'm only got the plus 10 right here. I've seen enough from Donovan Smith. I think he's a very talented quarterback. I think he runs the ball very effectively. My main concern with Donovan Smith is that he commits too many turnovers, but I do like his quarterback play a lot. I like a lot from what I've seen from Texas Tech's defense. They've held clean to only 51% last week against U of H. Devin Leary, he really, really struggled against East Carolina to start the year. And this Texas Tech team's only allowed, I believe, about 470 yards to the first two games. Granted, the first game was Murray State, but they looked very well against U of H. I really like Texas Tech in this game a lot. I think they could come in and look impressive to start the game. I still expect NC State to pull out by 4 points or a touchdown, but I absolutely love the plus 10. If Donovan Smith can get the game going for the Red Raiders, I think this is going to be a pretty good underdog win for them. Point spread wise, not a money line.
Yeah, I like it. It's the 10 it's a weird spot because NC State almost got upset by ECU, but Devin Leary, it's gonna come down to the two quarterbacks, I think, with that spread. But yeah, I do like Tech. I forget. I think Jake took Tech in the upset show to win, but we'll keep an eye out for that one. Matt,
I'll tell you what, if you can get 5 points of plus 10.5, I would jump on that real quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the 10, you gotta definitely try to get to 11 or 10.5, something like that. Matt, you got Michigan State, Washington for us?
I got the over here. It's at 56.5. I can't believe this over is in the 60s. Both of these offensive has been kind of cruising. Michigan State, obviously, both of them have played inferior opponents through their first two games, and both of them have scored. Washington scored over 45 points in both of the first two games. Kalen DeBoer has this offense absolutely clicking. Michigan State's put up 35 and 52. Jalen Berger has been running really well, and Peyton Thorne has been making splash plays. I think this number is just being pushed down by what their defenses have allowed in their first two games. But like I said, both of them have played two FCS teams and low tier FBS teams and both of them are allowing single digits in points per game. That's pushing this number down a lot. I think this is going to be a shootout. I think they probably clear this number in the third quarter. I think they're going to score a lot of points in this game.
I love it. Yeah, you said the number, I added it to my card immediately. Yeah. I like Penix a lot. Drew, what were you going to say?
I also have a play in this game. I have Washington minus 0.5 in the first quarter. I expect Washington to win this game. Michigan State's looked pretty unimpressive. I mean, they played Western Michigan and Akron. And the Western Michigan game, they also just did not look good. I think Peyton Thorne has had some massive regression. He's doing stuff that he shouldn't be. He's having weird launch angles with his arm. He's trying to make sidearm throws. He's opening up his body when he doesn't need to. I think that Peyton Thorne is actually a guy that needs to end up getting benched. I think the backup, I forget his name. He's actually pretty dang good when he came in after the game was out of reach against Akron. Peyton Thorne, he's also just going to throw a pick or two. I expect Washington to win this game. I might take the -3.5. I have the -0.5 because I think they'll be able to score early. I can bank on a Peyton Thorne pick to give them good field position. Yeah, Michigan State. I mean, one of my friends is a Michigan State fan. He it's not even just, oh, I don't know if we're going to win this game, like how we all get scared when we play a half decent team. No, Michigan State's not a good team. They're not a top 20 team right now.
Yeah, they're sitting at 11 right now. Yeah, that Western Michigan, somehow Michigan State had to have a backdoor cover to cover against Western Michigan on that Friday game week 1, because that's what I had. Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't know if I'm going to do it. I'm definitely on the over in that game, but I might do a little Washington money line and then the over parlay. That could really that could get me going. But yeah, I like Washington a lot in this game.
Yeah, that like Kalen DeBoer and Penix are absolutely cooking up. I couldn't believe the number of 56.
I can finally like Penix now after he ripped my heart out. Every single time I hear that name, I'm like, come on, man.
He didn't get in.
He didn't score. I think it's the second time we brought this up. But yeah, I like Washington a lot. Woof, woof, go Huskies. Moving on, Pitt, Western Michigan, I'll kind of get into in my parlay thing. I just the fact that it's only 10 is absolutely bizarre to me. I know Pitt lost to Tennessee, but 10, that's a little telling on how Vegas think that game is going to go. But I'll get into that later. And then I think, yeah, what's up?
Can I just tell you they're without their top 2 quarterbacks?
They are. Did not know that.
Yeah, Keaton Slovis, I want to say, broke his collarbone.
I didn't watch any of that game, honestly. That's on me. I had it on my laptop.
I think Patty's questionable. So
I
just
did not know
giving you a little bit of information.
Collarbone. Yeah. I like the 10 even more. It's going to be a parlay play for me. I didn't even know Slovis was. I knew he was hurt. I didn't know he broke his collarbone.
That's what I saw. I don't know if it's completely confirmed, but
I know he's out this week for sure.
Yeah. I don't know how long it is.
College injuries, but I know he's out this week for sure.
Yeah, because coaches are always so freaking quiet about that stuff.
Yeah. Should have done some more research on that one, but I was starting a parlay. So
Patton Ducey takes blame for Slovis injury. Of course you should.
This one is kind of, I think 3 of us have the same play or are leading the same play. Nevada, Iowa, however you say Nevada. I never know. But Nevada's the play for me. But I don't think Iowa can score 24 points.
Yeah, I'm.
Go, Andrewster.
Okay, well, I mean, all I was gonna say is, for those that saw the preview episode, I said that Iowa is gonna score triple the touchdowns in one game as they have all season. That was my bold prediction for the week. While I do believe that is something that could still happen, they're just going to get the 21, and that's it. And truthfully, I think 2 of those touchdowns are going to be defensive anyway. So Nevada, I mean, I think they're still 2-1, but they play the absolute worst teams in the FBS in New Mexico State and Texas State. Texas State, I'm not done with you. I am bashing you worse than I'm bashing the other Houston school in a couple minutes here, but I just don't trust Iowa to cross the 50-yard line. Look, I know South Dakota State is a really good defense for an FCS team, but I still don't trust them to cross the line against Nevada, to be honest with you, Iowa. I mean, I'm currently writing an article on 10 things that are bigger than Spencer Pentress's QBR right now. And some of the things that I've gone on that list are still pretty freaking terrible.
Yeah, I'm not taking the Iowa spread just because I know their ability to get defensive field position and, get balls on the 20 because Nate Cox is not a good quarterback. I have the under at 39. Nevada, if they score, it'll be a pick 6, nothing more. I can't see for the life of me Iowa scoring 31 points. It's just impossible. They could get 3 pick 6s. I don't think Petrus is going to be able to move the ball past the 40-yard line of Nevada. And let me speak to Kirk and Brian Ferentz real quick. Please keep Spencer Petrus in for the rest of the season. Sincerely, every Big Ten West fan.
Yeah, oh my God. I don't know how he's still a starting quarterback. He's been bad for years.
Oh,
it just doesn't make any sense.
I saw Kirk Ferentz said, it's because of his body of work. You give him the body of work because he's on the football field. That's because of you. Purdue is the better quarterback.
To be fair, I mean, the reason why Kirk is retiring at the end of the season is because he is developing a severe case of dementia right now.
Yeah, you know what? And I said this in the Big Ten preview. Andrew can vouch. one of my hot takes was Kirk Ferentz is going to retire and he's going to make Iowa give the team to Bryant. And I'm going to laugh forever.
No, I mean, that's honestly it. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not going to say that it's Kirk's call to give the job to Bryant, but like at the end of the day, it's just inevitable. And once that change is made, nothing's going to change at all.
Oh, it'll get worse. It'll get significantly worse.
Yeah, they're a real fun team. Everyone loves watching Iowa. So the next game, I'll just kick it off real quick because I know you guys have thoughts. Texas UTSA. For me, I'm just on the under in this game. I think 61 is very high for it. Texas showed that they have a very, very solid defense, and I know UTSA is a pretty good offense. But if you can stop Alabama, you can stop Texas San Antonio. That's kind of how my mindset's going. And with the offense, I don't. Is Hudson Card healthy? Like, what's his deal? I don't know.
He's gonna be playing on a very injured ankle.
Yeah, so that's why I'm on the under because 60. I don't know how it's 61. Like, even if Texas scores 35, 30 points somewhere in the 30s, I don't think Texas San Antonio is gonna be able to match that. So that's my second favorite play of the week. I'm on that under. I love it.
I'm on UTSA plus 12.5 on this game. And the reason why I'm taking UTSA plus 12.5 is because I am all aboard the Frank Harris train. I used to hate watching Frank Harris play quarterback. Nothing against his skill. It's just the fact that he's left-handed, and I hate watching left-handed quarterbacks.
Everybody does, I think.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? Honestly, he is honestly making left-handed quarterbacks look good. I mean, I think he's got over 700 yards to start the season. I know he had like 340 against Houston. He's at 350 against Army last week. That UTSA offense is obviously looking spectacular. I love Joshua Cephas. He's my player spotlight for the week for a G5 school. Zachary Franklin. If you don't know who Zachary Franklin is, where have you been? This receiving core, along with Dorian Clark, it's got to be among the best in the entire group of five. I love this UTSA offense. And honestly, I just think that this is a situation where this is the most Texas thing that could happen, to let up literally against a school that's about an hour away from you. I love UTSA's offense. I think they're going to cover the 12.5. I could actually see them breaking that 61. I really do. The over. I actually thought about the over on that game. The issue that I have here is Hudson Card's health, because if he cannot move inside the pocket, he's going to have a long day.
Yeah, I'm also on the UTSA spread here. Texas is just too banged up. They could easily be down to their fourth string quarterback by the end of this game, just because 2 and 3 both are coming into the game with injury issues. Bijan's a little banged up too. He has a shoulder. He should suit up, but still, if it's getting to the point where we're risking his health over anything else, they're going to pull him out of that game. I think UTSA is going to be able to keep up with this Texas offense pretty easily.
It's a non-conference game for Texas. I don't even think they're going to go into this game caring, to be honest.
I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, I mean, I'm still on the under. I like it a lot. Yeah, but I mean, I think it'll be close. Yeah. So moving. I mean, before we go into the last game, before we get into our parlay stuff and then our locks, I just want to bring up North Dakota State, Arizona real quick. 11 o'clock start, FS1. North Dakota State wins that game. I think it's like a pick 'em right now. North Dakota State's to play. Arizona's not good. They look good against San Diego State. Yeah, I like North Dakota State. That's a play for me. So I just want to jump to that real quick. And then you could say maybe the game of the night. It's Texas A&M coming off the worst loss in program history against the U. Tyler Van Dyke and the Hurricanes. 9 p.m. Eastern start. What do you guys think?
My boys.
Miami money line.
Same.
Ooh, a little money line.
Yeah. It's plus 177 right now. I mean, you can almost double your money by just saying that Miami's going to win. I don't know how Texas A&M's a 5.5 point favorite going into this game. By you telling me that, you essentially believe that Miami would only be like a 2-point favorite if the game was in Miami. I love Tyler Van Dyke. While he has a slow start, this is the type of game where I think he would get the best out of his performance. Also, Henry Parrish Jr., I think he's going to have a big game. So many people are talking about at Texas A&M's front seven. Guess what? Camp Peoples, he absolutely killed any argument for that Texas A&M front seven last week. getting 120 yards by himself. I think Henry Parrish, he's averaging 100 yards per game right now through the first 2 games. I think he's going to get more than that against Texas A&M.
Miami was my lock last week. They just barely missed it just because they had a terrible first quarter. Their O-line had some killer miscommunications errors in the first, and had 3 drive killing sacks in a row. But once that was figured out, they scored 23 unanswered and got through us pretty easily. So I've talked a lot about Miami's offense. I think I love Tyler Van Dyke. I've talked about him for Heisman. What surprised me last week was their defense. They have a safety, James Williams, wears 0, big as hell. You'll notice him quickly. He comes out of the box a lot. He's a baller. He's going to be popping up on draft charts really quickly. He does everything JL Skinner does in that Boise State defense. He does exactly what that does. He looks fantastic. He's big. He can cover. He can run. I really like what he does. So I also have Miami money line here.
Yeah, I mean, this is just me being a chicken. I just think Miami's the better team. I know that we have some guys, Liam, that think Miami kind of stinks. I disagree wholeheartedly. I'm gonna go Miami with the 6. I want to take. You know what? Screw it. I'm not gonna be. I'm taking the money line as well. I just decided right now. That's
fair. I think Liam hates anything that's popular. To be honest.
Very fair.
Factual.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be, in my opinion, I think it's gonna be a close game. That's the game of the night, really. I think that's going to be a great game. I know that Texas A&M is coming off a loss. They probably won't be able to score, but I think they'll be able to stop Miami a little bit. Miami will run away with it late.
I'll say two things. I'm not going to touch this game, but Jimbo Fisher needs to revolutionize his offense. This is not your team at Florida State, Jimbo. You need to actually change things. Second off, Haynes King cannot be the quarterback if you run anything like this. Haynes King has proved over the last few weeks that he is just not the guy. It's not even just that he doesn't hit throws. He just plays the game weird. His mechanics are not there. He's holding the ball too high. His launch angle is disgusting. I don't know why he won the job over a steady guy like Max Johnson. Max Johnson should be starting if you're not extremely confident in starting a true freshman in Connor Wegman. A&M just needs to make the change. I don't know if Jimbo's going to be aggressive or if he's going to be conservative and keeping Haynes. The fact that he hasn't made the change right now is astonishing to me. Haynes King has been that bad.
It's very clear he does not trust Haynes King to run his offense. It's very evident. It's weird he hasn't switched him.
Also, I will say I'm not touching this game because I do not trust Miami to score against. I still think A&M's defense is very good. I think Josh Gaddis was not the right hire for the offensive coordinator. I think he just doesn't fit with what Miami wants to do with Tyler Van Dyke. It doesn't look right. And I think that this is a game where Jimbo's going to be able to get his guys up. I think A&M wins this game. I think there's a reason they're 5.5-point favorites and not closer to pick them.
I agree. Josh Gaddis is rough.
Then I'll feel that fear because it's the weirdest atmosphere in the world to me, but it's always loud. And I think that you got to give them the home field respect as well. But I think that's our slate, right? That's our Saturday slate.
Yes.
A lot of plays. We'll get those up on Tally site. We're going to start now our parlay corner, which we do every week. I have a parlay this week. I finally got one. I think this might be a weekly thing for me. I'm not really sure, but it's I took 4 dogs on the spread.
Ooh.
So that might be a thing for me. We're at plus 1024, Nebraska plus 11, Toledo plus 32, Old Dominion plus 10, and Western Michigan plus 11. Nebraska, I think they're just going to come out firing, and I think that, like we talked, they're talented on offense. Oklahoma, not great on offense. Their defense is really, really good, but I think they cover the 11. Then Toledo plus 32. I think I'm going to talk more about the Toledo game when we get to our locks, but I just think that 32 is a really big number for an offense that's that good. I could be wrong. I love the MAC, so I'm very high on DeQuan Finn and the MAC offenses because I've been following them. I've been watching. But yeah, plus 32. Old Dominion plus 10 just because I think they can win the game outright, but I don't want to throw like a plus 400 in there. It's 8, but I got it at 10 because I took it yesterday. And then Western Michigan plus 11. I feel better about it now that I know Keaton Slovis is out and they might be on their third string quarterback. I think that Pitt's going to win the game, but I think Western Michigan keeps it close. So that's my parlay, my 4 dogs plus 1024.
I like it. Western Michigan actually didn't look too bad against Michigan State. Obviously,
they didn't.
they're
They
going
were
to.
in the first half, like
Yeah.
pretty well.
Oh yeah, which sucked for me because I had the over, and neither team wanted to play offense in the third
Also had the
quarter.
over. That's not for me too.
But I like that. I love some dogs.
Love the dogs. Is
Right,
that
Andrew,
All right,
what's
let's-
yours?
Andrew?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, can't lose parlay last week was it lost. So, but you know what? Let's do a 2-1 on terms of can't lose parlays for the season. I got this one. You know what? My first parlay was like plus 192. Hey, you know what? It hit. That's all that matters. It hit. I don't care if it's like a minus 800. If a parlay hits,
The
it
winner.
hits. You know what? You hit a parlay. Guess what? Nobody else in your group can say that they hit a parlay. That's the way I like to view it. But I got this one that's a little bit juicier. This parlay, if it all hits, plus 295. So we can. So let's go. So let's triple our money, shall we? First in the list, I have Air Force money line versus Wyoming. Me and Dave, we've rewinded to the first like 5 minutes. All right.
Yep.
Love the boys in blue. Let's go Air Force. Cincinnati, I believe that they're going to beat the Miami Redhawks pretty handily. Baylor, I had to take an alt line because you could not take the money line on this game, but I got Baylor minus 16.5 versus Texas State. For those that watched our Texas tier talk with Shahan J. Raja before the season started, we said that Texas State was the worst team in the state of Texas. I think they're ranked to be, I think they're projected to be the worst team in the Sun Belt this year. They have the worst football facilities in the state. They have a very bad campus for such a beautiful city in San Marcos. There's absolutely nothing to like about Texas State. Baylor should beat them by at least 24, 28, whatever the spread is. But I'm going to keep it safe at only 17. They're going to kill them in Waco. Ole Miss, they go to Georgia Tech. I think Ole Miss is going to win, guaranteed. That in itself is a minus 724. But right now, Georgia Tech, they're in a really weird spot where I think Jeff Collins is going to get fired before the end of the season. Georgia Tech is that bad. While I do think Ole Miss is not that great as they were last year, they should easily beat Georgia Tech. Washington State to beat Colorado State minus 900. Not even a question. I think Cam Ward actually finally has the breakout game that he so hardly needs to stamp in the FBS. App State minus 500 against let's say who they played. Bowling Green. Bowling Green, you suck. Okay, I don't ever remember you being good since Urban Meyer was there. Okay, and what was that? Cold War era? I forgot. But anyways, UH moneyline versus Kansas. UH gets back on track. They will beat the Jayhawks. Marshall, they will be. Oh wait, I already said Marshall. Did I? Never mind then. Wake Forest. Okay, we've already spoke about. We're all aboard the Sam Hartman train. They will get back on track. They will keep getting on track. And I took an alt point total with this SMU Maryland game. I'm surprised nobody had a play on this. I got the over at 58.5 for a minus 574. The over on this game is currently at 78. Like 78. You're expecting both teams to score at least 39. I love both the offenses, but that's still way too steep for me. I'll take that over 58.5 at minus 574. So this can lose parlay at plus 295.
That number 78 is
How
insane.
many legs is that?
So how many legs?
Yeah,
10.
I love it.
All right. I've got a 5-leg teaser. It's either +7 or I bought 7 in the hook. Starting off with Wake Forest minus 9.5. We've kind of already talked about that game to an extent. Georgia State minus 12.5. Charlotte sucks. I love Georgia State. I think that they got a little bit unlucky against South Carolina. North Carolina was a closer game, but Drake May is just him. So I will take Georgia State 12.5. Bama minus 41.5. I will take Nick Saban to flex his muscles on ULM. This will be probably more of a blowout than the Utah State game. ULM is awful. They suck. Bama should use this game as a runway getting into the SEC games. Utah minus 13.5. Any team that employs Braxton Burmeister as their starting quarterback, I'm going to fade them. Utah minus 13.5 going to play San Diego State. And then another game we've kind of talked about, Old Dominion, UVA. I altered this under to 59.5. Neither of these teams can score. As good as Ollie's Jennings is for Old Dominion, their quarterback sucks. And Virginia, Tony Elliott, I've already talked about this. He's just ruined that offense. It's disgusting. You score 3 points against Illinois. Why should I expect you to score more than 20 against Old Dominion? 5 legs, 7 +7 or 7 in the hook, plus 462.
Mine is a 4-pick teaser. So we're teasing 6 points. I have Houston down to -3. That's winning by a field goal. I think they handle that pretty easily. I have a lot of the same picks as Andrew here. I have Air Force down to -9, so to win by a field goal and a touchdown. I think that happens pretty handily. Georgia -18.5, so Georgia winning by 3 touchdowns. Spencer Rattler's thrown 3 picks through 2 weeks. I think he probably doubles that this week. That Georgia defense is scary, and he's looked skittish. And then the last one is one of the wilder spreads I've seen, just in terms of the over/under, what's happening. I have USC down to -6.5. So I wanted to bet the over in this game really badly. It started at 67.5. It is up to 78 now. This game is like skyrocketing, but I think USC should be able to beat Fresno State. Fresno State came off a disappointing week last week by a touchdown. I think that'll happen. So that's 4 legs plus 300, 6-point teaser.
All right. I love it. I think those are all going to hit. We're all going to win a lot of money, but it's time for the best segment of the entire show, the locks. I'll start off. I'll kick it off like I always do. We're back. Air Force -17. Not even a doubt. Colorado stinks. Fade Colorado. This week, though, I'm not going with a spread. I'm going with a total, and I've hinted at it. Over 61 in Toledo, Ohio State. Hammer it. It's a lock. It's a 5-star white whale play. 2 really good offenses going at it. I know, but Dave, it's Toledo. Ohio State crushes MAC teams. Ooh. No. Toledo's going to score at least 4 touchdowns, and Ohio State's going to score like 6 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, whatever it's going to be. The game is going to end like 55-30. It's going to go way over 61. DeQuan Finn, remember the name. DeQuan Finn and CJ Stroud's a great quarterback matchup. Over 61. I think they score 80 points.
I'll go ahead. I'll take it. UTSA plus 12.5 against Texas. That's my lock. I don't trust Texas' health. I don't trust Hudson Card's ankle. I don't trust, I've Malik Murphy, who's the QB3 for Texas. Apparently he's having health issues. UTSA and their offense, it's clicking all cylinders. Frank Harris, Cephas, Franklin, Clark, they're all getting along great, perfectly. I love this UTSA passing attack against this really weak Texas I'm not gonna say a weak Texas defense, but a Texas that I think is still on a high right now. So UTSA plus 12.5, it'll hit.
I've made an oopsie. I talked about my lock in the run up to the show, but I'll talk about it again. Penn State -3.5. Penn State's back, baby. They back like they never left. I think they win by a touchdown fairly easily. Nick Singleton's gonna run for 200 on 15 carries. Auburn just doesn't have the offense to keep up. Tank Bigsby's all they have, and Penn State's been really good against the run this year. I think they cover 3.5 easily. They probably win by a touchdown or 2.
So, Dave, in week 1, my lock was TCU against Colorado. That hit wildly easily. Week 2, one of my favorite plays was Colorado team total under. Do you think I'm going to go against the fade the Colorado agenda that we all have?
I'm going to go with no. No, you're not.
We're rowing the dang boat until it sinks. It's not sinking against those stupid Buffaloes. Didn't get a point last year. They're not getting one this year. Minnesota -27.5. Like you said, white whale 5-star play. Look, Colorado, you suck at everything. Minnesota, they've played 2 trash cans. They're about to play a 3rd. You are awful. You are arguably worse than New Mexico State. Your quarterback sucks. Your offense sucks. Your defense sucks. Everything about you sucks except for the stadium. But unfortunately, you can't pack it because your own fans don't care about you because you suck so much. Minnesota -27.5. Lock of the year. It's a game of the year play.
Ooh, first game of the year on the show. Wow. I've just been giving out 5-star white whales, a game of the year. Wow. So I'm on, we just want to run through them real quick. I'm on over 61, 62, whatever you can get it at in the Toledo, Ohio State game.
So yeah, UTSA plus 12.5 against Texas. Yeah.
Penn State -3.5.
Minnesota -27.5.
Throw the boat. That's our show. I said it was week 4 in the beginning of the show, and what's wrong with me? It's week 3. That's our week 3 show. We're going to win some money. Thank you, my bookie. We're back.
Just like Texas.